With me now are Republican blogger George Ajjan of Ajjan Associates and Democratic strategist Leroy Jones of 1868 Public Affairs. Now, before we talk to them, we want to take a look at last night's final numbers. First, on the Democratic side, the big winner is Senator Barack Obama with 38%, followed by former Senator John Edwards with 30%, and Senator Hillary Clinton with 29%. And on the Republican side, former Governor Mike Huckabee wins with 34%, while former Governor Mitt Romney gets 25%, and former Mayor Rudy Giuliani gets only 3%. Tying for third place is Senator John McCain and former Senator Fred Thompson, each with 13%. And Congressman Ron Paul garners 10%. Gentlemen, a lot of surprises last night. The polls were accurate. Now, when you look at the Democratic side, did Barack Obama win or did Hillary Clinton lose?
Mike, I think Barack Obama clearly won. His message of change is one that, illuminated, Iowans. And, they went to their caucuses with that message. And, quite astoundingly, when you talk about, this whole message of change versus experience, it clearly resonated. They wanted change. And, that's what happened on yesterday. And where he cut into, new voters, women, quite astoundingly, a state that is 95%, white Americans, he cut through any kind of racial issue that would have ever, offered itself in a state like Iowa.
Huge turnout. Concerns for the Republican Party?
Well, I think I tend to agree with Leroy in the sense that Obama did a great job bringing out new caucus goers. I think Mike Huckabee really distanced himself from Mitt Romney. I mean, that was even more dramatic than I think the polls were suggesting. I think the trick on the Republican side, though, is that the counties that Huckabee did very, very well in tend to be in the rural part of the state, which is the middle of the state. In the suburban and urban counties and the more Catholic areas of the state, he lost actually to Mitt Romney in those areas. So he should be guarded in his sense of optimism as he moves forward into New Hampshire and the other primaries. Okay.
Now, the Barack Obama win, could that be a sign that the Clinton campaign now is in serious trouble?
I don't think it's in serious trouble, Mike. I think, what you have there is, a bellwether. We have to get our act together. Our message didn't resonate. We needed to talk more about change as opposed to experience. And as we move from Iowa to New Hampshire, and in New Hampshire, right now the polls say Hillary Clinton, has her lead. But in order to preserve that lead, which is going to be difficult because Barack Obama has a serious bounce coming out of Iowa. And in New Hampshire, you have a 40% independent base, which, he clearly resonated with independents in Iowa. Different states, but, some of the same dynamics, exist in New Hampshire that existed in Iowa.
Will it force her, though, to change her strategy?
Obviously, there's going to have to be, some strategy retooling there. And, it's going to have to take place over the next 4 days. And, it's going to have to be serious. It's going to have to be clear, and it's going to have to resonate with, New Hampshire voters. The process is going to be much different. In the Iowa caucuses, you dealt with a 2-hour period during the evening. In New Hampshire, it's a primary, and they're going to be voting all day. So it gives you an opportunity to, to work your operation, your field operation, much more intently throughout the day. You'll have checkpoints throughout the day as opposed to what you didn't have in Iowa, and, you're going to deal with a popular vote. So the strategy is going to be very much different, and the result, I believe, may inure benefit to Hillary Clinton at the end of the day. But Barack Obama won't be far off.
What do you think about Hillary's chances at this point?
Well, there's the sense of inevitability that she had to contend with. Barack was always the challenger, and he clearly challenged her quite well, bested her by 9 points, and Edwards by 8 points. She's got quite a machine in New Hampshire, the Shaheen family, which is very powerful up there, and he's her national co-chair. So she's clearly got her operation in full gear up there. There's still a long time to go. John Edwards, I wouldn't count him out yet either.
That's where I wanted to go next.
Well, look, Edwards, he's been around the circuit before. That's one of the benefits that he has. Similar thing for John McCain. Someone who's been through the process before has an advantage going in here. And look, Hillary's had, everybody talks about her high negatives going in. Obama hasn't really been taken to task yet. I mean, look, he makes all these lovely speeches and does that sort of Dr. King impersonation that I'm sure he practiced growing up in Indonesia and in Hawaii. And look, if he was running for president of the high school graduating class, I'm sure I'd be the head of Republicans for Obama. But the fact is he's running for the president of the United States, and I don't think he's demonstrated that he's got the credentials to be able to do that yet, and he hasn't really been taken to task on that yet. So Hillary shouldn't be too worried yet, because the media will start going after him.
You gotta love this guy. But, you know, when you look at the whole dynamics of of Barack Obama and and Hillary Clinton, clearly you're going to see some stark differences. He's a front runner now, and it's going to be a lot different. He's out front, and the rest of the field is going to kind of focus on him and and his weaknesses. And
what about the GOP side now? Huckabee's out front.
Huckabee's out front, but don't count McCain out. John McCain is going into New Hampshire primary, again, with independents having the ability to vote. And, he has the support of, quite a strong independent in the region, and that's, Senator Lieberman. And, that's going to play, quite differently for the Republican side. I don't think Huckabee won't have, the evangelical Christian vote there that he had in Iowa. Much different. And, as you know, 60% of the people, those that identified themselves as evangelical Christians, 45% of them, but not the same population in New Hampshire.
There's another missing piece here, which is the fundraising piece on the Republican side. We know that Ron Paul raised $20 million. He's clearly going to be out in front. We know that Mitt Romney has personal wealth. He can write himself a check for 20 or 30, however many million he needs. What's unclear is, and we know Huckabee raised $5 million, and clearly he's going to be able to raise more on the back of his success in Iowa. What's unclear is, does Fred Thompson have the cash to continue to go forward? Does John McCain have the cash to continue to go forward? And how much cash has Rudy Giuliani saved for this grand strategy that he thinks that he's going to wait till the 29th in Florida, and then he's going to sweep in California and New Jersey and New York on Super Tuesday on February 5th? He's in real trouble. When Ron Paul beats you by 3-1, Rudy says he didn't contend in Iowa. The fact is he made more than 20 appearances in Iowa from August up till the date of the caucuses.
But what do you think of the grand strategy?
I think it's a very poor strategy, and I think his people are going to start to be very, very, very worried, because today's campaigns, people want answers on an hour-by-hour basis, and he's going to have to spend from the 9th, because we don't expect to see great results for Rudy Giuliani in New Hampshire. From the 9th till the 19th in South Carolina, he's going to have to spend 10 days spinning why he's had 2 poor showings thus far. Then we go to Florida. He's pinning all his hopes on Florida. It's another 10 days of explaining how are you going to continue going like this? Where are you going to get all your support? Are people going to continue to feel confident in you? And are you really America's mayor? Right. Clearly he's not Iowa's mayor.
And right now it's not all about Rudy. It's all about money, organization, and message. And, as you know, money follows victory. And, as victories are, churned out in these primaries coming forward in New Hampshire, later on in South Carolina, there's a Nevada caucus. And then we get ourselves to, February 5th. Right. And for some candidates, it could be Tsunami Tuesday. For others, it can be, a gateway to the nomination. So as we move forward, and the machinery with the Tier 1 candidates, Clinton, Obama, and hopefully if Edwards can survive with a good run in New Hampshire, they'll still be in the running. The money, hopefully will still be there for somebody like him. Barack and Hillary, they don't have money issues. They're well financed. They're well organized. And as we move forward on that Democratic side, we can see a lot of action as we open up the gates on February 5th.
Okay, real quick responses from both of you. Do you expect to see these 2 candidates, the 2 winners, around at the end?
Absolutely.
Possibly.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up, a new law in the Garden State requiring both pregnant women and newborns tested for HIV. But does the law go too far? More when New Jersey Now continues. Stay tuned.